And we're back. So we continue to try to use Lunala in a lot of these matches, but we realize sooner or later our team struggles a little bit against Yveltal. Yveltal seems to be just such a powerful threat, especially being able to max darkness and take the Oranguru out in a single turn if needed. And I believe I should have the confidence to bring Tyranitar a bit more often into those matches. And we do end up replacing Lunala in the long run. Although I feel that I should take an approach to a different strategy and not have so many sort of semi-support attackers. Instead, I should probably have more hard supports just to be able to give my actual attackers a better advantage. So something to think about to work on. I haven't really decided how to go about it. But for now, I think we're still doing quite well. So let's just go to the first match and let me show you what happens. So we go with our usual lead, Celesteela Monkey. We do face a Rillaboom Palkia, which is very rare. We get hit by a knockoff, but doesn't really matter too much to us unless Palkia moves first. So the Celesteela actually getting the first turn here got me a little worried because I knew that the Palkia, may actually be slower. But then I realized it's just going for a Trick Room, which is the reason why the Palkia moved last. And it really worked well in our favor because we predicted the Trick Room and we went for a Light Screen instead of our own Trick Room. So I believe we should be slower and be able to outspeed the Palkia here. So we go for our Dynamax, we get a Yawn off and we go for a Flare. Unfortunately, Charizard was switched in. So we get a Sun Up and Solar Power is going to chunk Charizard a little bit. But the next turn is going to be an important one for us. We have to get rid of this Charizard or it's going to, be able to hit us with a G-Max Wildfire. The unfortunate thing is that the Palkia did the right thing to undo the Trick Room by itself. The Charizard was able to move first as a result. So I didn't really expect them to undo the Trick Room so soon. But they knew what was right and they did it. But the Wildfire is going to kill Celesteela, but we do manage to get rid of the Charizard and get the Sun away, get the Sandstorm up just to give a bit more control to the rest of our team. But we are going to go down to the wildfire pretty soon, so just a matter of trying to survive these few turns. We get Landorus in just to put a bit of intimidate pressure on the Rillaboom. We don't want it to have too much strength. We get rid of it once again with another Max Flare. We get a Sun back up. At this point, yeah, we do predict that the Zacian would probably be in the back, and we keep the Sun up just in case we lose the Celesteela, what do you call this, Dynamax. We may still be able to use a Flamethrower perhaps, and also deal with Zacian. Zacian comes in as expected, so we do get the Flamethrower off in the Sun, which is really, worked really well for us. So that was kind of an important turn in the sense we were able to sweep most of their Pokemon with just what do you call this, rock and fire moves, but this Palkia is not going to be something easy for us. So thankfully, our opponent just realized that they can't take on the rest of our team and forfeit it. I believe what I had in the back was the Lunala. I do not think I had the Gastrodon. So yeah, we would have won in the long run either way. So it was great that we managed to get the forfeit. So that's nice. Worked well in our favor. So here's another Swordfish team that we go up against. I think Swordfish is like in maybe 50-60%. I think I would say 60% of my matches is Zacian Kyogre. And then we have Groudon, which is about, I don't know, 20% of those, 30%. And then the remaining 20 to 10% is whatever random stuff. So Landorus Grimmsnarl, I didn't expect these leads. But I think it works well in our favor in the sense where they can't really stop this Trick Room from going up. And the fact that they switch out the Landorus for the Zacian is really good because they probably expected us to pop out with Landorus. I think that was the idea. So unfortunately, the Meteor Beam gets blocked by Zacian, but doesn't really matter. So we see something interesting here. The Grimmsnarl actually goes for a Scary Face into the Zacian to drop its speed. I think the thought process of my opponent is that if I can get Zacian slow enough, I could probably outspeed the Celesteela in Trick Room. Very interesting thought process if that was the case, but we are going to kill the Zacian with a single max flare here. So yeah, I'm not sure how that would have worked in their favor, but they just forfeited right away. So this is some of the matches that I don't usually want to put up because it's like almost an instant match. But I wanted to show this one because this is a very interesting thought process from my opponent. Using the scary face to slow down the Zacian so they can outspeed the my team in the trick room. Very interesting. If it did work, I would have been surprised, but Zacian is just too fast. Probably if it was Kyogre, it might have been able to slow it down with two scary faces if the Kyogre doesn't have any speed investment. But otherwise, I don't think it was likely. So here's the next match. Right, so for this one, let's go really slow. Kali Solgaleo. I've not really seen this combination in a lineup, though I mean it's definitely somewhere out there, but kind of rare considering, that Solgaleo is just not in the same speed tier as Calyrex, so using them together is kind of interesting. But regardless, it would play well into my Trick Room if I manage to get it up, so I put all bets on that. I do believe neither of these Pokemon can take down my Monkey, and the fact that Cali goes for a Bulldoze just to get a weakness policy boost, this has to be like a all-in to go on the Monkey, and I expected a Sunsteel Strike, I guess. So a max Steel Spike, that would have been ideal in their case because that would probably do the best stab damage, but they actually go for a Quake to get their special defense up, and they don't end up bringing down the Monkey. So we do get the Trick Room up, but at the same time, they do have a decent advantage, I would say, considering they what do you call this, managed to get that special defense boost. So we actually didn't go for Trick Room on their turn. Right, we go for Light Screen instead. So I think the thought process was that they might try to undo our Trick Room and I believe Kali Shadow does have stuff like Imprison. So I think I faced it a few times before I decided that probably Trick Room might be not as valuable as Light Screen. Although later we realized that the Dynamax Solgaleo is not really going to care about Light Screen too much. And with Indeedee coming in, Celesteela is really going to struggle here. And unfortunately, we did rush the Dynamax because we were kind of afraid of getting hit by a flare or something, because Solgaleo definitely has Fire Blast. But we go for a flare of our own, we get the Sun up, and we do a decent chunk of damage, despite what do you call this? Their I guess yeah, the special defense boost. Yeah, I think we still do pretty well. But after this, Indeedee's follow me's are gonna start to take my turn away, and that max deals by taking down the Landorus meant we were really lucky they didn't do that on the Monkey, but they did do it on the Landorus, and that's kind of unfortunate. We do have an extra turn here, and the follow me is still, plaguing us. So this is kind of a thing that we had to learn a way around, and I don't do it very well in this game, but eventually I realized that we either gotta just brute force it, or we gotta get in something like Lunala or Titar to deal with the Indeedee early on, because that's also kind of a problem. So Lunala handles this one really well because we remain in Trick Room and that allows us to outspeed our opponent, which is huge. Because otherwise Lunala may have struggled to sort of help us sweep from the back. But with Celesteela having the technically a triple boost, we were already in a good position because once they switch the Pokemon out and in, they don't really have the special defense boost that Solgaleo is going for, and they can't really max Quake into Celesteela very well. All Landorus, so that sort of gave us an advantage in the sense they couldn't boost their special defense further. It's just that we had to get rid of the Indeedee, under the Psychic Terrain with its special defense boost. So that was kind of the only thing that we had going for us, and we sort of did it well. However, if the Indeedee did come in on the very first turn and the Solgaleo got the Max Quake off, that would have given Indeedee a huge boost, and we would have struggled to take it off. It would have taken probably another 2 turns, considering how tanky Indeedee can be. So yeah, we did kind of pull through, I would say. So yeah, I mean, just one play from the opponent would have changed the game there. So this is Togukization, something we don't see very often. We do straight want to go into our Dynamax because we don't want to get focused down by a probable Fire Blast with the Behemoth Blade or something. But they actually try to bring the Monkey down, which doesn't work very well in their favor because we do outspeed the Togekiss. something I did kind of try to calculate because we are really, really slow on the Celesteela. But I believe that Togekiss was going to go for some kind of decreased priority move. I'm not sure if it was, Trick Room or something like that. But it was some kind of a decreased priority move that we didn't get to see because we managed to one-shot the Togekiss before that. So that worked really well in our favor, and the opponent just, DC'd, so disrespectful. But yeah, I mean, there are some matches like this, so I kind of consider this the bonus match. We're just gonna continue to do, a bit longer ones. But yeah, very interesting team actually. Zacian Togekiss is not something I see very often, but I do believe it has been in one of the regional teams, although I could be wrong. So yeah, this one's a very interesting team in the sense we saw a Frostmoth and Mewtwo, and also a Rhydon, which got me really excited. Although I believe that opponents are unlikely to bring Rhydon in this game, considering we don't really have any kind of electric threat to help its Lightning Rod. Though, I did believe it was possible they had something within their team to help the Rhydon. So if yeah, you guys will be seeing that in a bit. So we go for our usual leads. I do believe this is in Mandarin, right? So yeah, I do believe this is in Mandarin, although I could be wrong. But anyway, the what do you call this? Incineroar Dynamax is not something I expected. And the Hydro Pump into the monkey, unfortunately, we did take a huge hit, and the monkey is going down from the max darkness. If they, you know, didn't go for the Incin Dynamax, I guess they wouldn't be able to stop the monkey, so this was good decision making, them realizing that they can't fake out the monkey and going for the max darkness from the Incin. So yeah, this was really huge. But it does allow us to sort of punish them. They are Dynamax, so we still do a good chunk of damage. But they're not able to bring down my special attack in any way. So yeah, they don't have parting shot, and they don't have any other rotation abilities now that the Incineroar is Dynamax. So this was a huge decision for them to make. We do go for our Dynamax of our own, and we do take an Earth Power into the Lunala. I think it doesn't really matter. I think they were just trying to do something to break the Shadow Shield. And then they go for a Max Darkness, and that's definitely got to take down the Lunala. And there's really nothing much I can do because we couldn't get Trick Room off, which is what I was trying to do there. But we do get the Max Rockfall and bring down the Incin. So this game is not entirely beyond this because we do get rid of our opponent's Dynamax, and they did Dynamax a support Pokemon. And our Celesteela managed to get its +2, which is huge. But right now we're relying on a Tyranitar Celesteela to bring down a Palkia, Mewtwo, and whatever else could possibly be in the back. So this is huge in the sense where they switched out the Mewtwo straight into the Rhydon, something I did not expect. I just predicted the Hydro Pump from the Palkia, so I go for a Protect here. And they do indeed go for a Hydro Pump, so it's a really good thing that we did Protect there. We go for the Overgrowth into the Palkia, because that's probably the best neutral damage we can do to it. And thankfully, the Sandstorm brings it down, which is huge because I wasn't betting on the Sandstorm to bring it down. I just thought we might be able to one-shot it considering the boost we had. But the Palkia was actually super tanky, and I was just so glad the Sandstorm worked in our favor, which is one of the cool things about this team. You don't have to ever have to worry about Focus Sash. So this was the cool play. Mewtwo goes for the Thunder, triggers the Rhydon's Lightning Rod. And this was actually kind of scary, special defense going up, but we do outspeed it outside of Trick Room. And so we max Steel Spike and we one-shot the Rhydon, and their opponent's got to just quit here, right? So we crunch the Mewtwo, and I believe they're going to forfeit, or they actually take the last turn. Oh, they forfeit in the very last turn. So this is actually very interesting. It's an interesting attempt by my opponent, and it worked out in their favor in the sense where it worked out in our favor in the sense where they actually took out our Trick Room. So if the Trick Room was on the very last turn, the Rhydon could have gone for something pretty scary that could have taken out my Celesteela, because we are low on our special defense, and the Lightning Rod increases the special attack of Rhydon. So I'm not entirely sure how high Rhydon's special attack can go because it's more of a physical attack oriented Pokemon as far as I remember. But I do believe with the boost it can be pretty scary. So yeah, we were just kind of lucky that the opponent focused on our Trick Room and it worked in our favor. So this was an interesting match. Trick Room is really fun in situations like these where it turns out, to surprise you all of a sudden. The fact that you might be like, oh man, I couldn't get the Trick Room up, but guess what? It actually works in our favor because opponent's going for some crazy shenanigans. So yeah. Anyway, here is a Colossal team, Dragapult Colossal. Very, very classic team in the sense we've seen this combo win so many regional competitions. But Colossal just has fallen out of the meta because it just doesn't do enough damage and it takes a lot of damage in return. So when I see a Colossal, I do bet that they're just going to Dynamax it. Plus, I'm not too afraid of going for my usual Meteor Beam boost here. So they do go for a Surf, and if I have to eat a Flare, I'll eat the Flare. But they actually go for a Volclith into the Monkey, which is huge. I was expecting them to just go Max Flare into the Celesteela, and at least we'll get the Trick Room up. But this is huge. The fact that they go for the Volclith into the Monkey, and the Monkey survives enough for us to get a Meteor Beam and do so much damage into the Colossal, and we actually get the Trick Room up. So this was a really, really huge advantage to us. So we bring the Tyranitar in to get the Sandstorm up. We get the Flash Cannon first because it's Trick Room, and we're always going to outspeed the Colossal with its Steam Engine activated. We go for the Crunch in the Dragapult. It survives to have enough time to use a Surf, which triggers our weakness policy. So this is sort of a revenge grudge match from the Tyranitar here. Opponent realizes they don't really have a way to come back from this, and they forfeit. So this is a very clean match in the sense where we just had the right Pokemon in the right position, and our opponent didn't really plan out how they were going to use the Colossal. They just went, you know, all in, and probably they should have played it a little bit more cautiously. I think that would have been their best bet is not, use the Colossal, switch out into maybe a Steelix that could have easily taken any potential Meteor Beam from Celesteela or any fire attacks, any lightning attacks. I think Steelix can even take steel attacks comfortably. So Steelix would have been the right wall against the Celesteela, um, unless I went for Max Flare. But yeah, it would have been a better wall than everything else they had on the team. So yeah, anyway, we kind of did well there. So here's a very interesting team. I believe I played against this team and we actually lost the first battle. So this is actually a revenge match. This is second round. We're facing this guy as we slowly went up the ladder. So there we go. Wait, have we fought before? Yes, we have. So yeah, this is gonna be cool. This is actually a rematch, sort of. So the first time we actually lost because our opponent just spammed Spore from Among Us, as all Among Us should do. And the reason Among Us outspeeds everyone is because of the what do you call this? Prankster from the Meow Stick. So we actually bring our Lunala out first because we have safety goggles and our opponent doesn't know that. However, I realized that there was another way around the strategy, which I'll be showing you in a bit. So we get the Trick Room up regardless, and the speed tier doesn't matter once again on the Amoonguss if it's just going to go for a Spore because it's a priority Spore. So it's always going to get it off. So Trick Room, I don't care about using Trick Room with the Amoonguss there. And I sort of believed there is a possibility the Calyrex might outspeed us. So I was a little bit worried about that. But we didn't have much of a choice here. We had to do something with the Lunala, and we have to keep it in the field, which is very important. So us getting the first turn there in Trick Room against the Calyrex was a huge thing for us, a big deal. The fact that we outspeed the Calyrex. So that was really, really important. uh, I mean, now they wouldn't want to Dynamax the Calyrex, right? Because they switched in, they took a huge Moongeist Beam. They're probably just going to go for some simple attack or, let the Calyrex go down so they get a free switch. So they actually get a Sludge Bomb on Lunala and they get a Poison on the very first turn, which is huge for them. And they go for a Glacial Lance, which, yeah, is kind of as expected. They just want to let the Calyrex go down so they can get a free switch in. So we just take the advantage of that. We don't really think too hard on this. We just want to get rid of the Calyrex and not let it snowball in any way if it gets the monkey down, because it does outspeed us in Trick Room. So yeah. Anyway, Rillaboom comes in, and we bring the Celesteela in first. And the reason for this is because we can still wall these Pokemon off comfortably, and there's not really much they can do. So Slash Bomb is not really going to harm us in any way, and if they do go for something like Spore into Celesteela, there's not really much Rillaboom can do. A Dynamax Rillaboom is not. I mean, yeah, Dynamax Rillaboom is not really threatening for us. If it was Gigantamax, that might have been a little bit scary, but it's not Gigantamax, so yeah, we're not too worried. So Rillaboom actually goes for sorry, what do you call this? Amoonguss actually goes for the Protector. I didn't know it had Protect. The way it was playing. But yeah, anyway, it goes for the Protector. So Meteor Beam is charged and it just protect against that. Phantasm is something that it can also defend against because it's protected. You go for a Max Overgrowth and bring down the Dynamax Lunala, which is huge for them. But we have also brought down their Uber Pokemon, which is Calyrex, and T-Tar comes in to deal against these two, and this is huge, right? So, in a normal circumstance, if there was Trick Room, or even if there wasn't, the Amoonguss would just be able to put me to sleep. The Amoonguss would just be able to put T-Tar and Celesteela to sleep, and they would just be able to win this game with priority Grassy Glides or whatever, right? But because so we protect first to take the first Grassy Glide, whatever is coming, and they go for the obvious Spore into Celesteela because they do believe that we're going to protect, so that's good on them. But here's the thing: we get the Weakness Policy boost. Sorry, this is not prior to Grassy Glide, actually. This is just a max overgrowth because they Dynamax, right? What am I saying? I'm actually kind of losing it here. So max overgrowth and we get the boost up. But here's the important bit. They're going to go for a Spore into the T-Tar in the next turn, which is what they're probably trying to go for here. But because we are Dark type and they are now, what do you call this? They're no longer Effect Spore Regenerator, right? They're actually Prankster. So that's huge. The fact that they're Prankster means that T-Tar can't get put to sleep in Spore. And that's really important for us. So we get a crunch off, we get rid of the Amoonguss, um, and we still have our, what do you call this, weakness policy boosted. So Meowstic comes in. We go for a protect, which is obvious because we are expecting the Rillaboom just to go for me. But instead they do the smart thing. They go for the Grassy Glide to the Celesteela. We know that it's only a matter of time before the T-Tar goes down. So we switch it out. We let the monkey come in. So if the monkey goes down, we at least get a free switch. Monkey doesn't die there from the Dark Pulse, so we do take a double attack. But it doesn't really matter because Celesteela would have been able to take it pretty well as well. So Celesteela wakes up, goes for the flamethrower, gets rid of the Rillaboom almost. Sandstorm is going to take it down, which is great for us. T-Tar comes back in on the last turn of Sandstorm, and we go straight into a protect. There's nothing really the cat can do against this. We go for a flash cannon, weaken it, and on the last turn, we just take a psychic from the opponent and finish them off. So this is actually a huge rematch game. It's really fun, and very interesting that our opponent may have missed out the fact that because they're prankster, they couldn't actually put Tita to sleep. They could have probably gone for a poison move and put a bet on the poison. That would have probably been a little bit better. But yeah, this was really cool. Kind of unexpected as well. So here's another. Oh wait, this is a Kyogre Cali team. This is actually kind of scary. I was afraid they're just gonna go for Tailwind and then kill everyone. So they bring in the Grimmsnarl Cali first, which is interesting because I'm not really sure what they're planning to do here. They do Fiscus, so they know exactly what we are holding, which is interesting because that means they're not Prankster. So them being not Prankster gives me some kind of confidence in the sense where they can't taunt my monkey repeatedly if they want to, because they gotta get rid of my mental hurt first, right? And yeah, that's actually kind of interesting. They frisk Grimmsnarl, kind of unusual for me, but yeah, it is what it is. And I expected them, knowing that I have a Meteor Beam, to probably call a switch, but they don't. They instead go for the Darkest Lariat to try to stop the monkey from going for the Trick Room. But we do manage to pull it off. They do get the Darkest Lariat in the following turn because they actually outspeed the monkey, which is huge. But we do Flash Cannon to get rid of the Grimmsnarl. We don't want it on the field. We get a free beast boost there. And we didn't Dynamax, which is really important because we want to preserve our Dynamax for the later game. So we got two boosts here. We bring Lunala in. We want to scare the Calyrex, which is our agenda, which works really well in our favor. They switch out to bring in the Regieleki, which is a little bit scary, but we got the first turn here. The Kyogre is going to go for Protect, and there's really not much we can do against it. But we don't care. We go for the Overgrowth regardless because we want to, be able to just show them that we're not afraid to attack, which is really important. We actually switch out to Gastrodon here because it's the perfect check against both of these Pokemon. So I'm expecting nothing other than a Hailstorm here. And we go for max rockfall into Reggie Lucky because we outspeed it, and we obviously are going to one-shot it unless it's Focus Sash, which we wouldn't have cared about because it's Sandstorm either way, so that's really, really, really cool. So it goes down, and Kyogre actually goes for Max Geyser, which is huge for us because that means Storm Drain is going to kick in, and Kyogre's lost a free turn, and they just forfeit, um, thinking that there's no other way for them to come back from this. So this is really cool in the sense where we really did checkmate the Kyogre and Lucky combo, which is really important for us. It's also good that we managed to get the Trick Room up, otherwise we would have just lost the game. So Trick Room was really the deciding factor here. It's pretty straightforward. There's really no other way we could have beat these kinds of Uber teams, right? It's just because they're faster than us that we are winning, and we're playing just a little bit smarter. So yeah, I really like the fact that we're playing Trick Room and outsmarting all of these people. It's really cool. We're not just winning by base stat. So Kyogre Tornadus, I expect nothing less than a tailwind here. So I'm going to switch out to Creditly because we were actually playing around, experimenting, switching between Gastrodon to Creditly here. So this is actually a cool showcase of Creditly, I believe. Water Spout, we get a Storm Drain boost here, but yeah, it's not going to help the monkey very much. But regardless, we get a boost, which is cool. It's just cool. That's pretty much all it is. We get Trick Room up, which is really nice. We got our job done. We go for the Giga Drain into the Kyogre, which doesn't really do much. We get the Light Screen up so that we can tank any potential special attacks, which is amazing because the Heat Wave was eaten very well by the monkey, um, which is great. I mean, I did not expect the monkey to survive there. So we do go for another Giga Drain there into the Kyogre, and we go for Yawn onto Tornadus just to get some control. We eat another Blizzard, but it misses the monkey, which is huge. It does hit the Cradily, unfortunately, and we do get Hurricaned. So we know that they're not afraid of our Cradily, which is a great reason why we didn't Dynamax here. We're just whittling down the Kyogre, and they realize the Kyogre is going to go down eventually. So they're not Dynamaxing, we're not Dynamaxing. And I think this is really well played in the sense where we got rid of the Kyogre with just our supports, which is huge because now the Creditly has done its job. The Monkey has basically done its job, getting Trick Room up, getting Let's Screen up. So if it goes down here, I'm not too worried, although it is the last turn of Trick Room, and I would have liked to keep it in the field just for that. So we go for the Protector because we know Zacian can't Dynamax, and Kingdra is probably not going to bring down Creditline anyway. So we just go for a Protect there just to keep it alive because we know it's good bait for Zacian, and they probably think that I'm gonna, protect the monkey or expect an attack on the monkey. But the fact that they doubled into the Creditly is huge because Storm Drain is going to work regardless of whether we protect. So monkey is really safe here to continue to be terrorizing on the field, which is huge. So I did not expect the monkey to last that long, and we managed to get the yawn off. But in this turn, I know we don't really have much of a choice. We're probably going to not be able to get the Trick Room up. We eat the Beyblade, and we get Ice Beamed. And yeah, we have to deal with these two now. So we bring the Lunala in and Landorus, which is great for us because that puts both of them, in a minus attack. Kingdra doesn't really care, but he's asleep, which is great for us. Um, I would have expected something like a Max Lightning from the Kingdra. I think that was something I was a little bit afraid of, that they might have to shut down the sleep, but they don't really have that. Beyblade into Lunala is not going to do much because it's the Shadow Shield's first turn. We go for the Moonblast into Kingdra and the Max Quake. We get a free boost and we get rid of the Kingdra, which is great because Station is not really threatening us here. Tornadus actually goes for the Dynamax because it's the last Pokemon, they don't really have a choice. So we eat a Flare into the Lunala. They get the Sun up, which is not very important for us. We continue to get a Quake off to get a special defense boost and just do some chip damage into Zacian. And we finally get the Trick Room up and go for max Rockfall. And at this point, we are going to outspeed everyone. We saw the weakness policy, but it wasn't too much of a concern. And Lunala had Will-O-Wisp at this point, so we really soften up the Zacian as much as we can. But Zacian going for Solar Blade was really cool here. I did not expect Zacian to have it in it, but because we switched the weather to Sandstorm, Zacian has to take another turn. So they probably believed that with the sun here, they could have just got the Solar Blade in a single turn. But because we max Rockfall there, Sandstorm went up, and Zacian's burnt. They go for Airstream. It all worked in our favor in the sense where they need to take another turn on the Zacian to get the Solar Blade. So yeah, I think this was pretty cool. It worked really well in our favor. So we just go for Rock Slide, try to get a lucky flinch there. We go for Moongeist Beam into Zacian. It's a crit, which is great. and we get hit by a max flare, but it doesn't really matter because we're already going to win this game. So this is really cool. They just try to protect just to delay, the inevitable. And they do have a bunch of boosts, but it's not going to stop Lander Asterion. So yeah, GG. We won this one really, really well. We had so much control. We played really smart. We did not rush into things, and Credily actually had a really good showcase match. So I think it was pretty cool. But we did switch back to Gastrodon, realizing Credily's, imminent ice weakness. There's really nothing much we can do against it. So we didn't want to like Astrodon at least can take the ice attacks a little better. It just is better HP, so it can use leftovers better, and it has special attack, better special attack. It's just better optimized incredibly. It just makes it the better Storm Drain. So yeah, we eventually switched back to Gastrodon, but I believe in my latest team I don't even have Gastrodon on the team, so that's gonna be pretty cool when I show that. But yeah, this is it for this one. So this is the last match. Let's just go into it. We see another Togekiss, which is really cool. So we see Whimsicott Togekiss, which is Tailwind, which is what I expect. Moonblast goes into Monkey. Thunder Wave goes into Celesteela. They do know the outspeeder, so they can do that comfortably. Thankfully, we get the Meteor Beam off, which is great for us. We also don't miss, so that's um, things going in our favor. We don't get paralyzed, we don't miss, so that's really good. Everything that should go right went right for us. We get Trick Room up. We switch to T-Tar here because we know they can't really threaten me, and if they do, the Whimsicott does go for an attack first. Like I don't know, could they have, because it's Trick Room? Yeah, I don't think they could have outsped us. With anything other than a status move, with Prankster. So it looks like they did go for some kind of attack, but they get Flash Cannon and they go down, which is great for us. The fact that Sandstorm is out gives me the confidence that with Sandstorm they can't have Focus Sash because Sandstorm is going to kill them. So it's great that they went down, but it's unfortunate in the sense if they did have Focus Sash, perhaps they could have triggered Titar's weakness policy before going down, so they could have done me that favor. Regardless, Cinder Ace here misses the Pyro Ball, and that's really good for us. We see the Raichu Cinder Ace in the last two, and Celesteela is actually paralyzed here. So we switch it out to Lunala just to have the Shadow Shield come in case Raichu goes for some. Because Raichu Cinder Ace both threaten Celesteela. So I felt no reason to keep it there and let it take hits and not do anything. So at least we know Lunala can take whatever first hit is coming. And we go for the Tyranitar Dynamax, which is really cool here. And thankfully, they go for a fake out into Dita. Like, okay, I thought you might do something against the Celesteela, but they don't. So we outspeed the Cinder Ace to get the max Rockfall off, which is really cool. We want to get it off the field as the major threat. Now it's just Raichu that's left, and we go for a Max Quake in the next turn with Titar, and we get the double kill. So this is really cool. Titar really Dynamax to win this match, and this is a beautiful showcase of why I love this Pokemon. But yeah, it's just so many problems it has in terms of its weaknesses, and I really wonder whether the new upcoming terrestrialize, like terraforms, would have a way of resolving Tyranitar's weakness. So it would be super cool. Perhaps the ghost typing is the only thing I could think of. If it is ghost dark, it means it can't be possibly threatened by any what do you call this, fighting moves. And I think that would be huge in the sense where it'll eliminate its 4 times weakness. And it's not really afraid of ghost or psychic. So yeah, it might be cool if you could get a T-Tar that has the ghost type as its third type. That would be pretty amazing. But yeah, anyway, that's it for this particular episode. Just a bunch of matches again, once again. And I do try to find time if I can to what do you call this, continue to finish off whatever remaining games that I have. I think it's mainly just Eastward, and I guess after Eastward we'll probably hop onto something else. But yeah, probably this weekend I'll finish up Eastward. So I'll pump it up for you guys if I have it done. But otherwise, it's just gonna be these in between matches, so I can just make a quick recording. And yeah, you guys have something really really fun to see. So anyway, that's it for me for this one. If you guys are Pokemon fans, you probably would be paying a visit now. If you guys are not, I understand that you know you may not find anything exciting here, but it is what it is. I gotta have to rotate just the things that I do. But I mean, not many people are not a fan of Pokemon, right? So anyway, that's it for me. See you guys in the next one. Take care.